this idea that we have to be happy all the time, or that we should be pursuing happiness, or that that is the ultimate goal, can, in fact, send us into a tailspin, because the reality is happiness is an emotion, and emotions come and go. For me, the way that I always look at emotions is this too shall pass. Whether it's horrible or whether it's amazing, this too shall pass. Who am I beyond those emotions? And happiness is an emotion. The human experience is about all of it. It's about honoring and learning from all of it, and then bringing that into our own selves and living our best life. Happiness is one of those emotions, and we do have a right to it, and it is really amazing when we're experiencing it, but it's not the place to live, because we can't. It will pass.
Welcome to the Fun and Bliss Show,
where fun is our practice
and bliss is our lifestyle.
I'm Monique.
And I'm Moneeka.
This is a show to help you laugh louder,
dance more often,
savor the silly and sacred alike,
and turn fun into a blissipline,
so we can live lives of more ease, love, prosperity, and joy.
Let's go!
Hey, everyone!
Hello, hello! Hey, Moneeka.
Hey there, Monique.
So, what have you done for fun recently?
So, I got totally inspired when I made our January Fun and Bliss song. And so I've been making a bunch of other music. And today I was working on a theme song for my upcoming movie. I haven't actually told you about this movie. It's a little bit of a secret. So I'll just tell you what the name of it, and you can ask me about it later if you want to. But it's called The Christmas Rescue. And it's about a woman who can't have children and a dog who's been abandoned, and how they find each other during the holidays and heal each other's broken hearts. And so I've had so much fun putting together theme music for this, because it's really creative work, right? Writing the screenplay and all of those things. And so I've got some great music now to create too. So it's really fun.
I love that. That sounds so
Mhm.
fun. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm having a life. It is amazing. I just can't believe. Anyways, I could go on forever. It is so much fun, Monique. You done that's fun.
So, I've also been doing some creative things with AI.
Uh-huh.
I mentioned that my husband and I have been doing this absolutely best albums thing on YouTube and TikTok. We're just having so much fun creating these absurd bands that are like through AI, doing
You
AI
wanna
music.
listen.
Okay, so that's when I spent a lot of the weekend working on this band that formed. They were in an office supply company, and they were like the only like corporate band that's ever been great success, and they're, like, Norwegian from Minneapolis, and it's called Office Supply, but with, like, the O with the the crossed out O. That's like the supply too, it's like S-O crossed out supplies, and they're like this 1980s, with, like, big hair, but they're Midwestern, and they're discovered in a office supply convention. Like a VP of a fax company whose husband happens to be a record company
They
exec.
got this full backstory.
There's a
You know?
backstory. No, there's like a video, there's a song, there's a backstory. There's two girls and two guys, and their breakout song is called Copy Room Crush, and it's just absurd. It's so silly, and it just cracks me up. So that's what I did for fun. My
I
husband and I
love
have
that.
been having so much fun making these really really silly bands, but giving them, yeah, the whole backstory, all the
Yeah,
things.
I love that.
AI is amazing.
It is amazing. I could tell you, I'll have to fill you guys in as we go along, and all the little ways that AI is helping with creation of this movie. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm just like, wow, you
we
know?
can do a whole episode on the fun of AI.
Totally. But
Just
not
have
today. Let's not do
but
that.
not today. Today, we haven't welcomed you. Welcome to the Fun and Lit podcast. This is where fun becomes a practice.
Bliss becomes a lifestyle.
Oh, I'm Moneeka, and I'm the author of the forthcoming book, Fun is the Way.
And I am Moneeka Sawyer, author of the book Choose Bliss, The Power and Practice of Joy and Contentment, and two upcoming movies, one called Choose Bliss and one called The Christmas Rescue.
Love Love it. We're definitely gonna have to have an episode all about AI, but today we're gonna be talking about something really big and something right up my beautiful co-host lane. We're gonna be talking about bliss and why happiness isn't actually the goal and why aiming for it can make you feel worse, not better. We're going to
Mhm,
be talking about toxic positivity, emotional honesty, and the deeper, more grounded experience that we call bliss. And so today I'm going to put on my interviewer hat and I'm going to interview Monica, the woman who literally wrote the book on bliss, Choose Bliss. And we're gonna just get into it. Sounds good?
I'm super excited about that. Thank you.
Ooh, this is
Yeah.
gonna be fun.
Yeah.
You often say that bliss isn't happiness. So
Mhm,
bliss is a foundation.
mhm.
What does that mean to you?
Yeah. So bliss, I always say it's a deep sense of joy and contentment and the confidence that you can handle anything in life that comes your way. So it's really about emotional resilience and emotional mastery. So bliss is not actually an emotion. It is a way of being. I call it foundational, and you've heard me talk about this before because it's the place where we go, it's our emotional home. It's the foundation of everything else we do. So we have our tools, right? And we, as humans, have this full spectrum of emotions, all the way from despair to ecstasy, right? And when you have an emotional home that I call bliss, you have this freedom to go anywhere you want because you know that you can easily and gracefully come back home whenever you want.
Mm.
So it opens up your emotional freedom and allows you to really experience life. And that's why I call it foundational. It's sort of your emotional foundation. You know what I think of it is kind of like a mom sending a kid out to kindergarten. Go play, go meet your friends, and you can always come home to cookies with mom, right? That's what bliss is. That's the place that you get to come home to.
I love that. And it's really interesting that you talk about bliss not being an emotion because I often have thought of it like ecstasy, like
Mhm.
that, like that it is an emotional place of super highness. Um, but I love this thought of bliss just as a
It's a state. It's more like a state, a way of being, predisposition.
yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a cultural focus on happiness, right?
Mhm.
And you've talked about like this is not necessarily the goal. Why do you think that what do you think is wrong with our kind of like trying to chase happiness?
Mhm.
And why does that like set so many women up to feel like they're failing?
Yeah. Such good questions. There's a lot to unpack there that you might have to remind me.
Okay. I know
um,
I have a lot.
yeah. And that's so big, right? That whole thing is so big. So I was actually on TV 2 days ago and she asked me, what's the difference between bliss and happiness? And what I told her is happiness is when life feels good. And bliss is when you feel good no matter how life is feeling. It's that deeper sense of everything is just working. And so I think that when people are out chasing happiness is we sort of feel like we have to chase it. It's even like the American way of thinking is in the pursuit of happiness. And actually when the forefathers wrote that, they didn't mean it the way that we interpret it now, but that's another conversation. But there's this sort of like inherent American idea and it is spread all over the world that we need to pursue happiness. And so that anytime you're pursuing something and not getting it enough, or you're in constant pursuit, we might get discouraged. We might feel really bad, like a failure, because we can't get it. We can't ever settle because we're constantly in pursuit, right? So, this idea that we have to be happy all the time, or that we should be pursuing happiness, or that that is the ultimate goal, can, in fact, send us into a tailspin, because the reality is happiness is an emotion, and emotions come and go. Just like what I was talking about before, we have this full range of emotions from despair to ecstasy. Well, happiness is in that range. And for me, the way that I always look at emotions is this too shall pass. Whether it's horrible or whether it's amazing, this too shall pass. But who am I beyond those emotions? And happiness is an emotion. And let's be really honest. It's not our only emotion. It's not the best emotion. And it does not have the right to push all of our other emotions out of the way. Because the human experience is about all of it. It's about honoring and learning from all of it. And then bringing that into our own selves and living our best life. Happiness is one of those emotions, and we do have a right to it. And it is really amazing when we're experiencing it. But it's not the place to live, because we can't. It will pass. Emotions are like that. They're fleeting. They're dependent on things frequently outside of us. Happiness, so much of the time, is all about what can I get? Like we were talking in one of our episodes recently. Maybe if I have that relationship, maybe if I have that house, maybe if I get that job or that car or that promotion, or that guy, or those kids, or that cute dog. There's a gazillion things those cute shoes, right? There's a gazillion things we can chase to make us happy. And what have you noticed, Monique, that when we chase and we get that thing, what is it that actually happens around the whole happiness thing? What do you experience?
Well, if it makes me happy at all, which
Which
I've
it
trained
sometimes
myself
doesn't.
yeah, I've trained
Mhm.
myself since to just, like, that get that bliss, right? So it's just, finding the inherent kind of, "Oh, this is working for me," even when it
Mhm.
doesn't. But there are many times where I've gone after a goal thinking, "This okay, when I get to this, when I have that, when I lose this weight, when then I'll be
Mhm.
happy," right?
Mhm.
And then to get there and go, "This actually," or I'm happy for, like,
10 seconds.
day if like, a little bit of time. It's
Yeah.
like, "Oh my gosh, this is so great." Like,
Mhm.
"Yay." And then it's just guess what
Yeah.
happens? A positive psychologist call habituates. It habituates. It's like it becomes a habit. You get used to it, and
Right.
then that's just you go back to your default. So it's like, okay, that's why.
You want your default to be bliss,
Yeah,
right?
you want the default to be bliss, but it's just like lottery winners or amputees. Well, like after a couple of months, they all revert back to their standard level of wherever they are.
Wherever they are. And that's why I want that default, that place that you go back to be bliss, because happiness is fleeting, it's habituated, it's based on external circumstances. And you know what? It is fun to be happy. We have a right to that. We have a right to that experience. We have a right to that joy. We have the right for all of the ways that that serves us. But it's not the final goal. It's one of the many goals of being alive. And I think people just keep chasing it without understanding that it's not your responsibility to be happy all the time. You do get to be sad, and you do get to be angry, and you do get to be like flipping out of control, ecstatic, where everybody thinks it's really uncomfortable to be around you because you're laughing so loud, right? Like you have a right to all of those emotions. Happiness isn't the only or the most superior emotion, it
Yeah.
is just one.
We have 88 keys on the piano. We couldn't if we all we did was play high C. It'd be
No,
a boring
and how
song.
boring would that be, right? And part of happiness is the pursuit, Part of the joy is the journey. And when you're just like, I will be happy when, then you don't even get to enjoy the journey. You don't get to enjoy all the pleasures and beauty and happiness and success and crying and recovery. Like the experience of that journey disappears if all you want is, I just want to be happy. I just want that end goal.
Yeah, so good. Love it. And I think we've been touching on this, but where does toxic positivity sneak into our lives without us realizing it?
Yeah. You know, I am in a lot of relationships in my life, not necessarily by choice, that are all about don't rock the boat, right? Stay calm, don't get angry, don't have any big emotions. And so there's this appearance that everything is fine. Everybody is happy. Everything is fine. And that is toxic for several reasons because you don't allow for any real connection or really building any kind of relational interchange or reciprocity. Nobody really knows who you are and you don't know who they are, right? So that's a way that I feel is really toxic. This whole like don't rock the boat. And then there's the other piece, this like positivity movement. I do believe that a positive mindset is very, very important. But false positivity all the time is just like the pursuit of happiness all the time. There is nothing that is good all the time. And so, and I'll tell you this story. Actually, I think I mentioned it on another show. I was with a bunch of girlfriends and I was having some trouble with something. And we were on a retreat and we were all having a good time. And I said something that was not blissful or super happy or on brand for me, but I'm hanging out with my girlfriends and someone was like, "Oh, Monica, but you should look at it like this, and it should be, it's really happy, and there's a silver lining." And I just felt like, wait a minute. Like, I'm just trying to keep it real. I feel bad about this and would like some support to uplift me. And that doesn't mean faking like I'm happy about everything every moment of the time. And so I think this idea that we have to be positive all the time and we always have to look at the bright side and but sometimes life sucks and we have a right to that, right? So I feel like not honoring who we are as humans disrespects our ability to uplift ourselves because I think in the end, if we I'm trying to say something totally new and I've never said this before, so sorry as I work myself through this, but it's this constant need to be positive is not natural. Now, if you live in a place of bliss, this where your home state is bliss, you're going to be more predisposed to joy and to happiness and to positivity. But it doesn't mean that the rest doesn't exist. It just means that when you feel the rest, you're able to come back to this place of bliss much more quickly. But it does not mean that you have to be positive all the time and pretending like you're positive all the time and not be honoring all the other emotions that you feel, I think is disrespectful to yourself. And it does not allow for authenticity in your life. It doesn't allow for authentic relationships. It also doesn't allow for you to study yourself authentically and what's going on in your life.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question because I know that you're a big fan of Esther Hicks and
Hmm.
Abraham, the law of attraction.
Hmm.
And there's this sense, I was like, for anybody who's listening, and I've definitely felt this way, it's I'm feeling negative emotion. What
Hmm.
am I attracting? Oh my God,
Exactly.
I feel
Yeah.
this way. I have to be positive. I have to feel good so that I can bring in good.
Otherwise, the bad things are going to come to me. Blah, 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 blah. Yes,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I am a huge fan of Esther Hicks, but I think that there's some subtlety in the messages that people miss. You attract what your vibe carries, which is a conglomerate of the way that you live. You attract what you feel most of the time. So if you have a bad day, or you have a negative thought, or you have whatever, the practice is to catch those things, right? Like I found myself today judging somebody. And an interesting thing about judging somebody is that now when I judge somebody, instead of it making me feel better about myself, it makes me feel bad because that judgment is not something I want to do. That's something I would rather not have in my life. And so I have trained myself that when I have those thoughts, I actually feel bad. So I catch myself. But when I catch myself and I'm like, oh, maybe I don't want to be doing that. And then I lift my vibration, right? So where we land most of the time is going to be, in my opinion, I'm not Esther Hicks and I'm not Abraham, so I don't get, direct access to God. But in my opinion, the subtler message is that where you spend most of your time is what you're going to attract, right? And so if you have bad days, if you have a bad thought or a bad moment, or you're feeling negative, or you're pissed off, or you're yelling at somebody or whatever, those are all things that are an indication of something going on in your life that's not quite right. Take a look, learn, right? I feel like your emotions are indicators of how your life is going. So take the lessons, allow yourself the grace of honoring your feelings, and then come back to this place of bliss. Because if you're more in this place of bliss more of the time, you are just going to attract more of that.
Yeah.
And every single time you veer off, that's okay. Just come back. Come back as quickly as you can because it feels better. And you get better at it, right? Like I just said, I train myself when I judge somebody, I feel bad. It's not because I'm guilty for judging somebody. It's because I don't want to be that person. I don't want it to feel good for me to be having those thoughts. We can train ourselves, right? And that's the practice. That's why we have blissciplines, one of which the most fun of all is fun, right? But the blissciplines are to help you to elevate to that, to be able to stay at that point. And then you're constantly raising that foundation, right? For me, I don't feel I'm as blissful as I'll ever be. I'm hopefully going to get more and more blissful, more and more masterful at this my entire life.
Love that. So I know you've lived through some really challenging times, maybe even living through that right now. Times when maybe happiness doesn't feel like an option. What does bliss look like for you then?
Bliss looks like stability in those times. I mean, especially when I'm unhappy. Bliss, when I talk about the definition of bliss, that it's the confidence that you can handle anything that comes your way. That's really what bliss looks like when things are really horrible in life. That I know it's the ability to say, I know that I can handle this. God never sends me anything that I can't handle, and this too shall pass. So no matter how miserable I am today, this too shall pass, and I will get to come back to my happy life. And it keeps me going in a way that allows my life to still have joy in it, even when things are miserable. Like we were talking about with my mom, things are miserable. Spending time in the hospital all the time is miserable. But we're playing cards, we still laugh, right? I couldn't do that if I didn't understand that those feelings of sadness are going to come and go, accept them for what they are, and know that I can still feel joy. Did that make sense?
I did. Yeah, I love that. So, this is sort of a follow up. What has bliss taught you about resilience, compassion, or presence?
I do feel that you're more blissful if you're present all the time. And being present all the time can be exhausting. Find your places where you want to be really, really present. And that's a beautiful bliss practice because the honest truth is that if you're present in the now, so much of what makes us sad or unblissful or takes us off track is thinking about what's happened or thinking about what's going to happen. So even let's give the example of me sitting in the hospital with my mom. In this moment, her eyes are awake. She's laughing. We're having a conversation. We're connecting. In that moment, there's all this bliss and beauty that's happening. But if I think about she's here because she nearly died, or is she ever going to get out of here and I'm so scared, those two pieces are not in the now. The now in that moment, even in that sad situation, is beautiful, right? That's not always the case, but much of the time you'll find that if you stay present, life feels much more blissful, much more grounded, right? You feel more alive. In those moments when I want to be really like, I don't want to be sad when I'm hanging out with my mom, being really present with the moment becomes a very important discipline to keep us in that joy, right?
Mhm.
So that's the being present. What were the other two?
Resilience and compassion.
So resilience, that's really what it all about. Is being that's what I'm talking about, right? Is coming back to your bliss, your emotional home, your sometimes call it the bliss equilibrium. That place is your resilience. And the more tools that you have to get you there, the easier it becomes for you to be resilient. And it's a practice. Like it doesn't happen. This is not actually for a lot of us. Some of us are predisposed to this. My husband is. But most of us need to figure out our ways back home, right? We just don't intuitively know it. But resilience is really what bliss is all about. As far as compassion, because you know how to come home, you can go out there into the world and have all of these experiences, some of which include despair, sadness, anger, crankiness, feeling out of control, all of those things, right? If you feel those things, it's much easier for you to have compassion for others feeling those things. If you're constantly trying to not, trying to avoid all those emotions, it's really hard then and this is just in my experience, and Monique, I'd be happy for you to fill in here also, but sharing a human experience gives us a lot more compassion for someone who's going through that experience. I understand it because I know what that feels like. And we can have compassion if we've never experienced it. But it's interesting. For instance, my husband is a big athlete. And everybody in their family, that's the big thing for them. You need to be athletic, never express any pain, like nothing. So, and he's never really had any pain. Me, I was a cripple for several years. I am in constant pain 100% of the time, and I have been for 35 years. But he had no interest. My husband loves me very, very much, and he has a lot of kindness towards me, but he didn't get it until he broke his collarbone skiing, and it didn't recover very fast, and he was in incredible pain. And he finally was like, "Wow, you live with this all the time?" And I was like, "All the time." So now the conversations are different about when I'm in pain, he's not pushing me to get over it. And he didn't do that because he didn't love me, it's because he didn't understand. Going through the full range of emotions allows us to be able to relate to and be compassionate for other people. Do you agree with that?
I do. I see it as well as with bliss and compassion. And then it goes back to the presence, right?
Mhm,
Just being present for somebody in a place of it's like and I find that in the present, you're not in worry, which is usually about the
mhm,
future or anxiety or like guilt
mhm,
or shame about the past, right? A lot of the negative emotions exist in the future or present, and I mean, future or past, but not in the present. But when you're really present for someone, there can be this like exquisite like connection, even when it's sad.
mhm,
But so there's like that bliss, and that's like a compassion. I'm thinking about you with the group of women, and you're just expressing your just where you were and the hard place you were. And then I think you can be really blissful and to just be really present without having to fix anybody,
mhm,
without having to change anything about this moment, about who they are, about how they're feeling.
mhm.
And that can be like the compassion, the bliss, like just
Mhm.
being there and there, like just the space where, okay,
Absolutely.
I can take what you got. Like just, lay
Yeah.
it on me. And and not in a take it, but just I'm here.
I'm here for you. I'm holding space
I'm just here
and
holding
fully
the space.
present. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
share what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm,
And I
uh,
think that, yeah, I think that when you have access to this beautiful well of emotional resilience and yumminess and capacity, that we can hold that space mm, in a more loving way, let's say, because it can be sort of a flow,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that kind of compassion is a very emotionally mature emotion. Um, and still very young children have it. So it's not related to age, but
Yeah.
it's a relationship to our own emotional capacity. And then what can we share?
Beautiful.
Mhm.
So, in your experience, how do people cultivate bliss instead of waiting for it? The blissciplines you think people should.
Yeah. And that was what I was going to say is there are many different disciplines. They're in the book, Choose Bliss. Um, but I think the very first place to start is to know that that's important to you. And we've talked about this already too, Monique, is that fun and bliss are things that can get washed away under the urgency of life. And the important thing, the single most important decision you can make for yourself is this is important to me. I want to be blissful. And I am going to learn how to be blissful. I am going to fit fun into my life. These things are important to me, as important as anything else that I might prioritize. And one of the things that David hears me say a lot is I am not going to give up on myself. And part of the not giving up on me is choosing my own joy, my own bliss, my own foundation that allows me to fully experience life and fully give my love to David and the people that I care about. But it allows me to prioritize bliss. And I think that's the single most important thing. There's lots of disciplines. There's lots of beautiful ways to get there, but you have to prioritize it. And then once you prioritize it, you have to take actions towards that priority. So find the disciplines that work for you and maintain them as a priority. Keep doing them, keep practicing. And if one's not working, figure out another one. Bliss is also a habit. It's or a muscle, right? The more you do it, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes, the easier it is, the more graceful you can be to come back there, right? The more you do it, the better you get. That's true with everything in life, right? The more you do it, the better you get. So discover the things that work for you, um, and keep practicing them. But the very first thing is going to be just make it a priority. Like, this is important. I want to be blissful. I want that.
Thing. So, how do you think this when I decided I'm going to turn my 50 days of fun into a year of fun and I put it out there? Anyone want to join me? You were one of the first people to be like, yep.
I'm in. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like I'm here for it. You were there. How has the practice of fun changed your relationship to bliss? Anyway.
Well, it is one of the disciplines. Actually, in my book, Choose Bliss, I think the fifth chapter is Play is the Way. Because it really brings out the childlike joy and curiosity and excitement of life. And that really helps to elevate that feeling of bliss. It's one of the things that makes life feel so worthwhile. It's the reason we get up in the morning, right? It's the things that we look forward to. It makes everything else feel yummier. And so I think it's so important, right? I don't actually think you can be blissful if there's no fun in your life. I don't know that that's true because I've never had that experience, but I really people that I would call blissful, they all have a lot of that fun going on. And the people that are the most compassionate seem to also have a lot of fun going on for them. Have you noticed that too?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
fun is so important.
it
Obviously, I'm
is.
biased about that.
Well, there's a reason, Monique, that when you started talking about let's do a fun and bliss thing, whatever it was, when we were starting to talk about we didn't know what that was
We
going to
have a
look
movement.
like. Yeah, now we've got a movement, right? But when we were first having that conversation, yeah, it was like absolutely, because you can't have bliss without fun. You just can't. It's a huge part of it.
Yeah,
It's a huge part of being fully alive.
fun leads to bliss.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they go together.
they do. And that's why I'm glad we're doing this together.
Yeah. They're the perfect marriage.
Yes.
Yeah, Mo and Mo.
I love that too.
So let's talk about how bliss looks for us this week, this season, this stage of our lives. You think for you?
For
Let's
me?
start with the stage, and then like we'll go smaller.
Okay.
The stage to the season to
Yeah.
the week.
So for me, the stage is I am dealing with some really, really big stuff with my parents. And I think that in life we do go through different stages, right? I don't think that I know that. This is the conversation that I'm having with most of my friends right now because everybody my age is kind of in that phase, right? And so through each of the phases, we discover how bliss can support that stage. And it is a discovery because what worked in the last stage may not necessarily work in this stage. You need to develop a new skill set. You can take what you've learned and make it better or make it stronger, but it's not always going to be the same skill set. The level of sadness that I feel now around my parents, if I allow myself to think about it too much, is not a level of sadness I've really had to deal with in that way, right? And so I'm developing these skills around staying present, not allowing sadness to overwhelm me, looking at the joy of how much time I've had with my parents and how much time I'm continuing to get, right? Being delighted by their smile, right? So there's new things that I'm looking at that I just never really thought about before. And it's because I'm in this phase of life that I've never experienced before. And I want to enjoy that experience. I want every moment to be juicy and yummy.
Okay.
So that's like the phase of life, right? But then day to day or month to month, there's still stuff happening. I'm still making movies. I'm still doing a podcast. I'm still having time with friends. I'm still doing all the, keeping up the house, picking out garbage, cooking, doing all of those things, right? Those things tend to fall more into the bliss patterns and habits that I've already got. So I don't have to worry too much about that stuff. The growth is now happening in the phase of my life, and I've got the emotional energy to handle it and to stay joyful because I've already trained myself in these other things and I've already got a foundation that I can rest on and count on.
Love it. Yeah, I totally understand about the phase of life. So I too have parent issue. A mom dealing with some cognitive decline and dementia, and as well, I'm definitely like in the sandwich generation phase. So
Yeah.
the my youngest a senior in high school and doing all the college applications and figuring all that out. The oldest recently got married and um like they're like the other ones are young adults and launched but still around and is maybe the grandkids will be coming soon.
For any of you that are
We're gonna do it. Just
Little prayer you
your
just did there.
time.
It was
No
so
one's
cute.
getting any younger. No, I'm kidding. But
Yeah.
but there's that, it's like there's that life is happening. But you're right. It's the disciplines that make all of it. Right. It's like, okay, well, how can I play with my parents, have more fun with them?
Mhm.
Why, just like really appreciate mom as she's more or less herself, right? It's just like just be really present. Where can we play? What can we do together? And it's like that and doing the other things that I need for my bliss, like my meditations and my walks and my workouts and time with my husband and all of those things. And yeah, the fun and the play
Yeah.
and this time. So all of it, yeah, it's the practice of the bliss disciplines. That is it because you're right. It's a practice.
The disciplines. It's so important. Mm, I have often said that bliss is kind of like brushing your teeth. Like you have to do it every day, probably twice a day, right? Because you don't want your teeth falling out. But it is, but it is bigger than that, right? Because it's brushing your teeth doesn't become like a habit that I guess it's a habit that gets easier.
Yeah.
But with bliss, it's like you're building a muscle. It's more like a sweet workout that you do every day for yourself that feels really, really good. And it's building this bliss muscle. And that muscle, as it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, the bliss that you feel is more consistent. It's more yummy. And it just supports your life
Sure.
better.
Yeah. It's like you can't just lift one weight once, be like,
Mhm.
oh,
Done.
yay.
That
No,
muscle.
done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, whew, okay, I'm glad I'm done with that for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, no.
And there's one thing that's actually coming to me that I think is really important to say. This is also not an intellectual exercise. There is this one something I talk to people all the time and I tell them about what I do and they're like, "Oh yeah, I live my life that way. I always look on the bright side and I believe that the glass is always half full." And they're like all of these things. And then you sit with them and after 10 minutes, they're constantly complaining about everything in their life and making themselves feel like a victim and bringing you down. And then they're like, and you're like, but I thought that you believed in being positive, and other than those first 10 minutes, like nothing has been, so,
Yeah.
not to judge, but I'm just saying that this is not an intellectual exercise, you guys. Bliss
Yeah.
is actual practice, like actually being in your body, actually doing the things, actually being uncomfortable, noticing that you're wrong, that I'm in this state right now, right? All of those things. This is not an intellectual exercise that you can say, I got that, I do that, everything is awesome. Because if you're not feeling it, it doesn't matter what you think, it's not there yet.
Yeah.
So,
I think we can, like, if we're some, you can trick your brain sometimes, right?
mhm,
And it's like you can be a little. Sometimes we play a game of being a little like delusional and make
mhm,
believe in fantasy land. Um, and we get there. 'Cause I know a lot of people will justify their negative emotion because it's realistic.
yes.
It's like, "Oh, I'm just being realistic." And
Mhm.
and then they'll use, "But it's true. Look at what's going on here and what's going on there." And it's like, "That's realistic for me to be upset or angry or all the time." And it's okay. There's a lot that's happening in reality. This is kind of what are you focused on? Um,
And that's really important for people to see, to really hear, Monique, what you just said. There is a lot that's happening in reality. What are you focusing on? And I'll give you an example on this. David and I went to Iceland. And when we came back, someone asked, "How is the weather?" And simultaneously, I went, "It was horrible," and Dave went, "It was amazing." It was the same vacation, literally. We were in the same places at the same time. For me, it was horrible because I was freezing the entire time. For him, it was amazing because it was sunny and he didn't have to worry about rain and we could go see and do whatever we wanted to do. But what are we focusing on? We were having the exact same inputs, the exact same experience, but we were focusing on different things. And that's what's happening every day, all the time, every moment. There are so many things happening, and some of them are awesome, and some of them are horrible, and there's a whole lot in between. Where are you focusing?
Yeah.
And that's going to give you that emotional experience of how you're living your life, whether it feels yummy or it feels doesn't. And all of it is realistic. All of it.
Yeah.
The fact that it was cold is real, and the fact that it was sunny and we could do anything we wanted was also real. It's all realistic.
And part of the discipline is we're really being disciplined about our focus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
'Cause it will, yeah, it will like, that's the direction we're gonna drive wherever we're
Mhm.
looking.
That's right.
And that's what we're gonna get more of. Okay. Well, I think it's time for our fun spark.
I love
It,
that. Let's do it.
yeah. It's a bliss breath. Talk to
Mhm.
us about that. Guide us
Okay.
into that.
Yeah. So let's talk about the bliss breath. So this is a thing, it's an interrupt that you can do anytime. You can utilize it anywhere in your life. I utilize it even first thing in the morning to get my day started. And it's a bliss breath and it's called stop, drop, and breathe. And so what happens is no matter what's going on, so first thing in the morning, there's not a lot going on. So I just stop and get into my pod, right? But let's say, for instance, you just got cut off in traffic. Notice something. The person cut you off in traffic. You did not get in an accident, right? Nothing happened, but there's a story that happens in your head. Can't believe that person just cut me off. Isn't that person paying attention? That could have been a huge accident, right? You send yourself into a tailspin. This is all the story that's happening in your head. So what you can do is just stop. And frequently I will say, Monica, stop. Just pull myself out of it. Okay? You're going to stop whatever is happening in your head, and then you're going to drop your mind into your heart. And now you're going to take a couple of deep breaths into your heart. Send that breath down into the ground to ground yourself. And notice now how you feel about that. That wasn't awesome, but it's not sending you into a tailspin, right? So this you can do anytime, anywhere, for any reason. First thing in the morning and last thing at night also. But it's just this real simple stop, drop, and breathe.
Yeah. The thoughts drop into your heart, drop into your body.
And take a few deep
Breath.
breaths.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
I love that.
I use it all the time.
I know. Amazing. Okay. That was such a great conversation.
Yeah, thank you
You.
for interviewing me, Monique.
That was that was fun.
Yeah.
Like, let's try something new. Let's interview you.
Yeah, thank you
So,
for that.
yeah, that was great. Okay. For you listening or watching us, if this conversation today moved something inside you, if it's inspiring you to start doing some bliss plans, whether it's the bliss breath or just being a little more focused on what you're thinking or doing fun every day, whatever it is, I just really want to encourage you to do it. And also to think about who in your life needs this message. Who is that person that could use a little more bliss, that way, that centering way, that blissful equilibrium? Who needs to hear this too? Please send this to them because it will be the best gift you can give them, to just say, this is what I want for you. I want you to be in bliss. Or, you know what? You are a blissful person. You make me think of, like, when I heard this, I thought of you. Whatever it is, they're going to love you for it. So please share this episode and please subscribe so that you won't miss another episode. Won't miss all the fun and bliss that we're having here.
Laughter.
It'll show up for ya. Yeah.
Yeah. And as we leave, we're going to turn on some music, dance it out, and have a really blissful weekday. Whatever. Have a great day.
Yeah. See you next time.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Fun and Bliss Show.
Where fun is our practice.
And bliss is our lifestyle.
If this episode sparked your joy,
Share it, subscribe, and join the movement.
stay fun,
Stay blissful.
and see you next time.
I spent too long waiting for someday. Checking the boxes, doing it right. Chasing the gold, start chasing the next thing. While life was passing me by. Then I remembered what I forgot. Joy doesn't come after the grind. It's not a reward, it's a rhythm. It's a choice, and it's mine. I don't need permission, I don't need a plan. I don't need to earn it, I just take its hand. Fun